Hello, YouTube. It's Black Tiger Miner here. Welcome you guys back to the Black Tiger Miner YouTube channel. So today we're talking about some of the connections that Caspa has. I saw this video from Jesse and AI, and he kind of goes over a lot of connections that Caspa has and Caspa's making behind the scenes. So I told you guys, remember, Caspa. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's going to make Caspa a player in the cryptocurrency market going forward. So I'm definitely sure it's going to break the top 10. And with some of this information, it might break the top 5. But let me get to the video, let you guys review it, and then let me know what you think about it in the comments. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Entered the crypto game, creating their new PayPal stable token. In this video, we are going to directly connect PayPal through a paper trail to the Caspa token. This type of information is almost impossible to find using a regular search engine. That's why it's so imperative that you guys smash the like button and hit subscribe once we show you this paper trail and prove how big the Caspa connections in this world are. Because they're not only just tied in with PayPal, this runs all the way to central banks and CBDC. We'll take a quick peek into some of the Caspa TA monster bearish action on August 14th. That was from a Bitcoin video 40 days ago where we accurately called the Bitcoin price would crash directly on August 14th. Not sure what kind of technical analysis you're looking for, but that's pretty much as good as you're going to find, which is another reason for you guys to hit subscribe and make sure this content gets out there to everybody. Name's Jesse, professional poker player, mathematician. The connection between PayPal and Caspa starts with their seed funders. And we're not talking about the Eric Dale from Coinbase this time, for all you returning viewers. That's an entirely different video for you new guys who don't understand the Coinbase connection to Caspa yet. Make sure you check out the playlist after. There was another seed funding company alongside Polychain Capital. They're from Berlin, Germany, and they are called Yes Capital. These guys are like the Cathie Woods of crypto. They are the driving force that will bring crypto into the hands of everyday people, not just in the United States, but around the world. Taking a look at their homepage right here, we can see all of the different cryptos that they're involved in, and this is a list of heavy hitters. Right here on the top, we see Caspa. Scroll down a little bit more, you run into quant crypto. And the one that we're focusing on in this video is called reserve rights. The reserve token is the key that directly links the Caspa token to PayPal. We can see on the reserve homepage, it says in bold writing, stable currency is a human right. This very informative video covers the woes of hyperinflation and how the reserve token can get businesses and entrepreneurs a safe path away from their country's hyperinflation. PayPal just happens to be an enormous investor in the reserve token. This article reads, according to the October 21st announcement by PayPal, the platform plans on adding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Now, in prior episodes, we've covered how the market capitalization of both Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin is bleeding directly into Caspa, all the way down to the 15-minute charts. The article continues. As the PayPal leadership has already invested in reserve, we might see the RSR token listed on PayPal very soon. Interestingly, Coinbase, the leading crypto exchange, has also invested in reserve. Of course, Caspa is the fastest blockchain ever, and yes, the founders of it are absolutely genius, but it's going to take way more than a group of guys from Harvard to make a successful financial product in today's economic world. You need bankrolls and power players, and Caspa has a starting lineup of 18 members when it comes to that, from Yes Capital to Polychain to Coinbase. They're rubbing shoulders with PayPal already. This is a global economic product. Remember, overseas, the nearest bank can be days away. All of commerce is literally done via cell phone. It's known as the mobile pay systems. And this is the number one thing that the Caspa devs around the world are building. By the time people realize how big the power players are that are standing on the field with Caspa, it will already be too late. This channel is your source to get that information. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, share this video and this channel with your close friends so they can catch up on what's really going on with Caspa and how big of a catch this is going to be. Let's break down some new TA that we haven't covered yet. This is our origin trendline Fibonacci pitch, and we can see, zooming in on the 15-minute chart, that the candle is comfortably settling in directly in the golden pocket. This is looking good for us as we're starting to form the handle on the cup and handle pattern. Now remember, the length of the cup is 120 days. So the length of the handle will be approximately 40 to 60 days on average. So right now we're getting much closer to the halfway point on the candle. Thus, everything should start to move on the up and up within the next 2 weeks or so. What we have on this chart is a completely different Fibonacci setup. This is known as our X-axis Fibonacci. For those of you guys who have been with the channel for more than a month, we use this to help get our buy signal on Caspa. Here's how. Every time we entered into a new color zone on this Fibonacci pitch, look at how much resistance we would get. Even down here from the green to the gray. We broke into the gray, got resistance. Hit the blue zone, got resistance. Same thing on the red. And then just recently, jumping into this purple zone, we got a lot of resistance. Now we're about to leave this entire Fibonacci pitch, and we'll be approaching right around either August 30th or September 7th. Now you notice these colored arrows scattered both all over this chart and this other chart. This is when these two different Fibonacci pitch intersect, and we've highlighted with these colored arrows when there's both an intersection on both charts trend lines and the candle makes contact with them. Keeping this in mind as we exit the Fibonacci pitch, should this phenomenon happen again, when the candle touches where both of the trend lines intersect, it will happen either here on August 30th or here at a bit of a lower price around September 7th. Of course, once we break out of this Fibonacci pitch, that should be the length of the handle, and we will start our ascent to a new support level. We can get an estimation for how big that breakout will be using our origin trend line angled Fibonacci pitch. There were two previous peaks. One was on the 6th of August and the other one was on April. Setting those on this angled trend line and fast forwarding to, let's say, September 30th, we get whole new numbers. Based on the August 7th peak, that would be right around 7 cents on the 30th of September. If we get as high as we did on the peak in April, on September 30th, that would be just under 9 cents. We're going to jump into more technical analysis and break down Caspa's direct relation with Bitcoin and how a bounce on Bitcoin just back up to 2850, 2900 would be enough of a driving force to make this Caspa breakout happen.
So as we continue the connection video, this connection is Jesse AI and how Coinbase is secretly funding Caspa, which is interesting. But we'll see if we can connect the dots because, as he mentioned in the first video, there is a correlation. So let's see what he has.
The AI has exposed why CoinMarketCap will not properly list the Caspa ranking, and you won't even believe what the answer is. Ever since the SEC was defeated in court, the altcoins have a bullish momentum that will help carry Caspa on this upward trajectory well into November, December. Using our charting technique, we will be able to predict exactly how the market's going to react to Powell's speech, and it's going to be on the Coinbase to Caspa is found within the book of Caspa itself, specifically chapter 2, page 8, when it mentions the $8 million that it secured from Polychain Capital. Polychain Capital is an investment banking firm that was founded by an ex-chief of risk officer from Coinbase. In the movie Margin Call, the character Eric Dale was the chief of risk in that story. Olson Carlson Wee was the ex-Eric Dale of Coinbase until he broke off to open his own investment banking. Ever since Polychain Investments has been open, they have often shared investments with Coinbase Ventures. Taking a look at the Coinbase Venture investment profile, we can see that they're very shoulder shoulder, buddy buddy, often sharing investments with Polychain Investments. CoinMarketCap is actually owned by Binance. Why would Binance be interested in correctly ranking a token that their number one competitor is most likely to get the first listing for? Looking at the charts for altcoin market cap, we can see how bullish the court's ruling against the SEC was. The court's decision was when you buy a cryptocurrency, it is not like you're buying stock in the company of Coca-Cola. That would be a written agreement with the company that says they're going to share the profits with you from soda sales. In fact, when you're buying cryptocurrency, this is a consumable goods. So in the court's eyes, the cryptos are much more like a cooler full of soda. There are some exemptions to this. If the Coca-Cola salesman who's selling you this cooler says, I'm going to sell it to you, but let me hold on to it in a lockup for a year and I'll give you a 15% APY, when that happens, the judge ruled that yes, now you're starting to enter into a contract to share profit. The court also added that when institutional level players invested in cryptocurrency, using this same metaphor, that would be a lot like somebody with a restaurant license buying cases of Coca-Cola. And under that factor, it would definitely be like they were entering into a contract to share profits with Coca-Cola. Now, Caspa, being a proof of work token, is far away from all the staking APY. There is a distinct phenomenon when you compare the altcoin market cap chart to the Caspa chart. We can see this starting right on June 14th during the FOMC meeting. All of the altcoins started losing market cap, bleeding out, as Caspa started to gain liquidity and absolutely rocket upward. We can see this exact same phenomenon here on the 23rd of March. Now, when we zoom into a briefer time window, we can notice with this light green and yellow arrows, how on the total 3, it's like a downward sideways momentum. During those exact same time arrows, we can see on Caspa that we're rocketing upward, showing that the rest of the altcoins are actually bleeding market cap directly into Caspa. Before the court's ruling on XRP, we had thought that the altcoin market cap would be able to run until it reached the bottom of this gray Fibonacci pitch. It appears now that we will clearly be able to push through this to the bottom of the blue zone of this Fibonacci pitch. To give a better example of this on the charts, look back at the last bearish wedge that we made in 2018. As you can see, once the candle broke free from this downward triangle, it went up until it found the previous resistance on the trend line from back within that bearish wedge, that case being right between the blue and the red. Only then was the candle stopping to turn back down. Applying that same model into the pattern that we have in front of us, there doesn't seem to be any point inside the wedge when the candle stopped in between the teal and the gray zone. In fact, it looks like it would have to run up to the bottom of the blue zone before it found any resistance. This means when Powell comes out to the stand, he'll most likely say, we're going to raise interest rates one more time. And the market will digest that as extremely bullish news, and it will push right through August 14th and keep heading at a slightly upward crest. As we know, this will be very bullish for Caspa, as the altcoin market cap has also carried Caspa up along with it. As we start to crest out and reach the peak around mid-October, some of the altcoins will have already hit their top and start going back down. A lot of that liquidity will be bleeding into Caspa, as we have shown with all of those time arrows. It's around those calendar dates that I believe Caspa will be reaching its peak. Zooming in on the 15-minute window of Caspa, we can notice how the candle is basically mimicking the trend line separating the red from purple. Now we can clearly see each time that we move into a new color zone, there is a bit of resistance from the candle, whether it breaks out, retraces back, or get rejected and then breaks through at a lower date. We're waiting for the candle to absolutely break through this purple zone, where it will then clearly run up to 4 cents before finding its final resistance within this Fibonacci pitch right here on the outer wall of this channel. Once it breaks through that last purple wall here, it will then be free to join this continuation trend based off of the origin lines back in the April pendant. We already covered that in the last video. Breaking all this information down, it's clear that Caspa will be in an overall bullish trend upward until the early weeks of November. That should be the earliest stages that we'll see any major corrective waves in the price action. This gives everyone ample time to layer into their winning trades. Successful traders have proven in the past the best ways to mitigate your risk is to add on to your winners, layering in as they continue to stack.
So far, these are the connections with Coinbase, Caspa, and the first video was the connections with Coinbase and PayPal. So I don't want you guys to go down a rabbit conspiracy, but I don't want you guys to go down a conspiracy rabbit hole. But there is a lot of things in play for Caspa. I'm going to review and see if we can all make the connections. But let me know what you think about this video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, Caspa, Caspa, Caspa. And let's get back to the money.